Yeah. I'm Megan,
I'm April.
and we are Jomo Knits.
Sure.
Okay.
Let's be Jomo Knits.
Basically, we wanted to get together, and talk about all of our crafting escapades. Not just knitting, but a little bit of sewing and...
I thought maybe we could throw in some rug hooking and macrame conversation. Not that I've done one of each of those projects, but why not?
I think I've done one macrame project.
We'll have to talk about
It
that.
ended in tears, I think.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk about that. If not today, another day. But yeah, we'll get going on that. There's lots of crafts. My mantra used to be no craft left undone.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had to go back to a big girl job, and now it's basically sewing and knitting, mostly knitting. But anyway, so tell us about you.
Well, I started really getting into crafting during COVID, I would say. That was like my big COVID quarantivity. And I really got into knitting. And then that, of course, snowballed into garment making and sewing.
So wait, hold on. I gotta interrupt you.
Yeah.
So you started knitting in 2020?
Seriously, yes.
Okay, that slightly is annoying because she's way better than me and I've been knitting over 20 years. Just saying. So let that be a testament. It doesn't matter how long you've been knitting.
No, it just matters the frequency for sure.
And yeah, natural proclivity and it doesn't matter, right?
Right. Yeah, no. And I knit a lot in college too because I was a dancer.
Right, okay.
And
so you've been knitting a while.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a form of stress relief for me and also like an activity for me to not like sit and eat. So I was like knitting and doing something with my hands. But yeah, so and then do you want to talk about how we found each other?
Sure. Yeah. So we both go to the same knitting group, and I guess how long ago was that? Been now a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We were at a knit night, and I was torturing somebody else with stories of my adult beginner ballet class, which I was very excited about at the time. And this one over here pops up and tells me she used to be, she was a dance major in school, and so we kind of started bonding over talking about love of ballet and other movement media, and then she said, well, maybe I'll come to your adult beginner ballet class, and I was like, oh yeah, and then I looked at her Instagram later, and I texted her, and I was like, you will not be coming to my adult beginner ballet class. You can look her up if you want and see her legs straight up in the air by her ear, and
can't do that anymore.
No, you could do it at one point.
At one point, sure, yeah.
The glory days. So yeah, that's how we started talking, and then we just kept connecting at knit night, and then here we are.
And our big girl jobs were both in kind of similar fields as well.
Right, that's true. I'm a construction manager for a very high-end national home builder. And you?
I am a marketing coordinator, proposal coordinator for civil engineering firms. So.
And she just got a new job?
Yes.
Very exciting.
Going to start a podcast and start a new job on the same week.
Just dive in.
Exactly.
So we recently went to Inweave Fiber Festival. We're in Colorado, for anyone who doesn't know.
Yes. Yeah.
We're outside of Denver, so Denver metro area, and there was an Inweave Fiber Festival up in Loveland, Colorado, and we went up there last weekend. It was loads of fun. We got some goodies, of course, and it was a nice vibe because it wasn't too big. It wasn't too crowded. Both of us had just come off of Rhinebeck last year.
Yes, and Woolen Folk. And
everybody knows about the Woolen Folk. Just if you're watching this video, you probably know about the disaster that was Woolen Folk. And I swore at that moment I would never go to another fiber festival again, but decided maybe that was an unfair statement. So.
Well, I very kindly was like, would you mind possibly going? Because I know that you don't want to go to another fiber festival.
Who can say no to this?
Please, will you come with me? And so you offered to drive, which was very nice.
Yeah, it's only an hour.
Yeah, only an hour.
Yeah, it's not a big commitment. But.
We went up, we visited Buc-ee's on the way back.
Oh yeah, that was nuts.
The new Buc-ee's gas station, superstore.
It's an
extravaganza.
If you haven't gone and you're in the area, stop by Buc-ee's, I-25 North.
It's up there.
Actually, it's on the southbound side, so,
yes.
Yeah. But anyway, that was good fun. We got apple butter. Have you tried that yet?
Yes, it's really good.
It was really good.
It's really good.
Yeah,
really
it's
good
really
apple
good.
butter. I got hot sauce.
Right.
Haven't tried that yet. I
Yeah,
don't
we
think.
haven't tried the salsa yet either that we got, but they have all like house brand stuff.
And it's no preservatives
Yeah,
or
really
anything. It's like real stuff.
Pretty
in it,
clean
so.
ingredients. So I
yeah.
was super impressed by that.
Mm-hmm.
And did you bring anything you got
I
while we were there?
I don't
Do you
think I did.
remember? All right, shall I show what I got?
Please do.
Because we both got one of these bags
Mm-hmm.
by Fibers of Life.
I think so. I'll have to look it up. I can put it on. I can put their link in the description below or something.
Lovely
like that.
people in another country make the felt, and the woman who owns the business designs all the bags and has them
Correct.
made. And it was just super cute, and I couldn't pass it up.
Do you have the little tote?
I
The little-
do, and she was including a free pouch with every bag purchase. So I got this little cute like glasses case wallet. I don't know if that thing's focusing. Our tech guy walked away, so.
We'll figure it out in post.
Yeah, and then I bought this one just because it was so adorable, and haven't used it yet, but just couldn't resist. And then I got I was very good because my goal this year is to knit my stash ambitious, like everybody usually has, but I'm actually doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But I did buy one skein of Dreamy DK and Pacifica color from Greenwood Fiber Company to make a pair of
Mitts.
yeah, I think it's Take Flight. It's an Andrea Mowry pattern. For my husband, he's always wearing fingerless mitts.
I got a matching bag,
In a
and
different
mine
color.
is green. And then I also got from Greenwood Fiber. My goal this year is to not knit anything that doesn't come in a kit or I don't already have a plan of or a project
Love that.
for. So I'm going to knit a Andrea Mowry shift cowl out of some of the Black Label yarn that I got from Greenwood Fiber. They had like this gorgeous sample, and I was trying to like make my own color palette or whatever, and I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm just gonna do the color palette that they have in the sample, and
Why not? I can't
Why
wait to
not?
see it done because it's. I did one last year in all hue loco,
Mhm.
and it's very like kind of more saturated, bright colors with one darker colorway running through it, and they're gonna look so different. And
For sure.
even the drape of the fabric, so I'm really excited to see how yours comes out.
yeah,
And then we'll do a little show and tell.
yes,
Yeah, both of them. Then, yeah. So what are you working on right now? What do you got going on? I know
I've
you're having
been-
some thumb issues.
I have been having some thumb issues, some lovely thumb issues that I've inherited from my mother. So I've been taking
Mom.
a craft hiatus for a bit, but one of
And by
the-
that she means like 3 days off.
yeah,
Okay.
I've been sitting on my hands and asking my husband Justin every night, "Do you think I could knit a little bit?" And he's like, "No, give it another night."
Yeah. Very sage advice, Justin. I think that's wise.
So I have my Cozy Classic Raglan.
I'm sorry if there's noise in the
Bye.
background. We're at my house with my kids, and you know, you
Fine.
get what you
It's
get.
part of it, you know.
Yeah.
So I have my Cozy Classic Raglan by Jessie Made Designs. I'm on the
Looks
bottom
so good.
ribbing, so close. But I've had this yarn. It's Malrigo Rios Pearl.
It's a great yarn.
And I've had it in my stash for years, and I really wanted to knit something out of it, and I wanted it to be cozy and classic. So
You're gonna be able to style that so many different ways too.
yes, and I had to do a little bit of some modifications. I went up several needle sizes,
Yeah,
so
that happens to me a lot.
but mostly because it is a Aran weight, I think, yarn, or at least worsted weight yarn, and
Yeah.
the pattern calls for like a DK. So
Mhm.
I went up to a size 10 for the main body, and then that means I was on a size 6 for the ribbing needles. So I didn't do the what is the cast on and cast off, that the tubular cast on and cast off. I did not do that for this ribbing.
I am lazy with casting on, casting on.
It hurts my thumb, A, and B, it's really, really hard to keep it all on the needle and
Yeah.
keep track. So I did the cable cast on.
I like the cable cast on.
Mhm.
That's a nice one.
So I am about ready for the sleeves, but like I said, I have been holding off on finishing the ribbing. So
Yeah, let yourself heal up.
yes. All right, take it away.
Okay, So I actually just finished, you can see I'm still weaving in the ends. This is a finished object. It's the Artist Garden shawl from Nealon or Nielsen. Oh my gosh. Anyway, whichever one of those. She's fabulous. Yeah. It's actually the first pattern of hers that I've made, and it was such an interesting construction because it's mosaic, and you use 2 colorways, and you can either use 2 strands of fingering weight held together for each colorway, so 4 strands, or 2 strands of DK. Okay. And you work across, and then you back up and you work the next color across, then you turn. And wow. I've never done anything like that, and it was so fun to knit. And there's just enough variety in when you really start wanting to, hurt yourself over the boredom of one section, it changes right at the right moment. So it's a great pattern.
When you started it, how long did it take you?
I think it's been like 2 weeks. I'm not even kidding.
That is
which
fast.
Is like lightning fast.
That
for
is
me.
Fast for April. Yeah.
That's like normally this would take me months, but I just couldn't put it down, and I haven't done anything else except sit and knit this. But it's.
Are you gonna do the tassels or?
Well, that's what I wanted to talk about. I don't know. What do you think? Should I do the tassels? It's supposed to have tassels on 2 of the points. And I can't wait to see it after. I think I was going to decide after blocking. Because I love the way the tassels look in the pictures on the pattern, but I don't know if they'll drive me nuts, like in reality. But I figure maybe I'll try them because it's a departure, and I can always snip them off if it's not a me thing, because I do love the look of them. It adds a little something. Yeah. And I think I think for the tassels, I'm gonna use this darker teal-y color. This solid. Yeah. She has black on her sample one in the photos, and even though it's kind of a lighter color palette, I don't really see a lot of black, but black just makes everything pop. So I thought maybe a darker solid would
for sure. Yeah, and that's the one that you carry throughout pretty much.
Well, I didn't actually. I started off. I didn't have enough to carry throughout the whole way, so I actually started off with it down here. So this is a combination of the Junro mini set from Hue Logo last year, and I was like, the colors are amazing, but I'm like, what am I going to do with this? And then I saw this pattern, and it's a great stash buster pattern. And then the yarn shop we go to is the Tangled Ball
in Edgewater Public Market.
Yeah, a little shout out, fabulous store, great people, and they do a yarn swap once a year kind of thing. And somebody had brought in this pale blue solid colorway in here is Nerd String.
Oh, nice.
And it was just a freebie that I got. I took in some stuff that I don't even remember what was in my stash, and I picked that up, and it was a full skein. And then I had some maybe something Barocco alpaca blend, fine. It was a little thinner than a fingering, that I actually got at kind of a charity shop down on Santa Fe. You know that place where you could take art supplies and stuff? I don't know if they're still there.
I'm not sure if they are.
I think they might not have made it through the pandemic. And if you are still open, I will find out, and we'll speak to that next time. Yes. Because it was a great place.
We'll link you below too.
Yeah. Yes. If they're still open, we'll link it in the show notes. But yeah, I picked up a whole thing of that from years ago, and it was just sitting in my stash, and I had used some of it for something else, which now I can't remember what. So I used that, and then I faded through the Hue Logo set. But halfway, about right here, I switched because I was running out of the teal-y color, and I switched to I can't remember. It's like MJ Yarns. I got it in Seattle at Pike Place Public Market. Okay. Local hand dyer there, and it's what I used for my Weekender Light, which I'll wear some other time. But
so you wove in some of the Weekender Light.
Yeah. So most of it is actually the Nerd String and the yarn from the Weekender Light held together. Nice. But I'll put the details also on Ravelry. It's in my Ravelry, and I'm hand making April on Ravelry.
I think I'm Megs 897 on Ravelry.
Right. Yeah.
So I'll link our Ravelries below as well.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yes.
I wouldn't call myself. I've been knitting over 20 years and I still feel like a novice. I don't feel
would
like I'm
say-
that great, but I love doing it, so that's all I care about.
I would say that I'm like intermediate.
Oh, I think,
still.
yeah.
Because I'm not like, when
think
I
you're
go to
good.
like start a new project, I'm not like, heck yeah, I'm going to pick up some brioche, or heck yeah, I'm going to pick up like the most complicated cabling pattern ever, or I've been really into color work this year. But
She's been teaching a lot of classes this year.
yes, that as well. So
Sock classes. Socks
Mhm.
are kind of your thing.
I've got my next sock class coming up this next week.
So if you're local, sign up.
You're local. Yep.
Um,
But yeah, I mean, I've kind of been dwindling on a pair of socks recently. I have it like ready to graft the toe together, and then that's it.
that's my other whip, Megan.
Oh yes.
Which has been a whip for months. I just kind of pick it up here and there.
Is this the super cool yarn that's glow in
Yeah.
the dark?
I does it glow in the dark?
Or
It's
is
the
it-
one we got at the yarn crawl.
I can't remember if it glows in the dark or
It's
if
not
it's
yarn
the
along the
black.
Rockies anymore, is it? They changed the name.
Yeah, wild woolly
Yarn something.
yarn crawl. Yeah.
But yeah, it's this. It's
It's either black light or glow in the dark.
Oh, I'd forgotten about that. It's spun right round.
Yes.
It's called Twist. Are we actually recording? Our tech person showed up.
You are recording 17 minutes.
Oh,
Nice.
okay, good.
You
Okay,
wanna-
all right.
Do you want to
Yeah.
stop and then do a new, or do you want to just try to keep it in one big long?
I think try to keep it on one big long file, and then I can upload it to
Yeah,
the
she'll have to edit
computer.
because I had to yell at the boys to be quiet.
Sure, yeah.
And Taven came over to ask me something, and I'm like, do you not see this situation here?
We need the
Situational awareness.
red.
The red
recording in
light.
progress.
On air.
Okay, so anyway, back to the show. Yeah, forgot that it glows in the dark. Anyway,
Is it?
I'm only on one sock, and this is the Everyday Sock Pattern by Andrea Mowery, DRK Knits, which you will come to find out that I am weirdly obsessed with her. I just love her patterns. She's adorable, and yeah, I love her patterns. They make sense to my weird little brain.
It was a big deal for April to knit something that was not
To-
Andrew.
Yeah, to branch out and knit a Tiff Nealon. I think it is Tiff Nealon. We'll link it to Artist's Garden Shawl.
Yeah.
But I also am about to cast on, I didn't bring it down here, but I'm about to cast on Tiff Nealon's Trestle Tee.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And Charlotte Yarn Company, I think. I'm using the yarn that's spec'd in the pattern.
Nice. Yeah.
And for the first time in my entire life of knitting, I got gauge. With the suggested yarn and the suggested needle size.
Tiffany
My
might be
sister
your
did
new,
too, and neither of us ever get gauge.
let alone the same gauge.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Good point. I never get the gauge in the pattern with the needle size and the yarn. So, that is one thing about Andrea's patterns. I have to go up at least 2 needle sizes usually.
Yep.
On most of what I do. But I don't always use the yarn she specs either, so that could help.
That's true.
That could
Yeah.
be a factor.
I mean, and I don't usually swatch when it comes to like cowls, shawls, anything like that. But when it's a garment, I'll
for
swatch
sure.
then. Yeah.
For sure. On sweaters, I swatch. I don't know, maybe it's not obvious, but I did not swatch for the Artist Garden Shawl because
It's gonna block
if
out.
it's huge, so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if
It's
it's,
a
little.
schlinket. It is.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's a little big or a little small. I will say though, I do kind of wish I had have swatched for the cowl you're about to start.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because I feel like it calls for sport weight yarn, and what I used was a DK weight, and it is a little small. I wish it were a little bigger. So I
Bigger.
think if I do another one, I probably will do a little swatch.
Well,
But maybe not, because I might just go for it with the sport weight and see.
yeah, the cowl that I wore, the DRK Everyday Cowl, I
Yeah.
didn't swatch for that.
Yeah, it looks good.
The head hole's a little small.
Yeah,
but. So this was the DRK Everyday Cowl that I was talking about, where the neck hole is a little small, but I like it because then it's actually nice and tight around my neck.
Well, which is great, honestly, because the one thing I did know about this region of Colorado is it's very windy at times.
Oh my gosh,
Biting, freezing cold.
Yes.
When just put that chair anywhere. don't maim yourself over there.
Yeah, but like it holds up around
Oh
my
yeah,
nose
which
and everything.
maybe isn't the best fashion statement, but it is
feels
great
good
for
when
being out
when you
walking
gotta
here.
like take the dog out
Yeah.
at 10 at night. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Megan's dog. You'll have to include some video of your dog.
Of Gromit, yes.
So cute. The cutest thing ever.
So I think I knit this out of Dragon Horde yarns.
Oh, I don't know that one, but the colors are great.
I actually saw them at Wool and Folk this year, but I got their Schitt's Creek Advent.
Oh, yeah.
That was a like Christmas in July Advent a couple years
Love
ago.
that.
And it came with 31 colors. I still have
Holy
mini,
smokes.
yes, I still have mini skeins that I need to wind up, and I will probably use for some sort of stash
You could have a
busting
whole
deal
series of what?
of these.
Might I
yes.
suggest the Artist Garden shawl?
Yes, that. I was also looking at some of those of the one lady we saw at Interweave
Oh yeah.
with
Who
the
was that?
fringy things.
Yeah.
I don't
can't-
have
we'll
my
have to-
phone. My phone is recording right now because I
Right,
do not have
yes.
that. But she called it social knitting, basically.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of fringe on the edges, and it was very
That one looks
colorful. And
fun.
I was like, that is probably what I'll use.
Well,
my
if you
minis for.
do that one, we'll talk about
We'll
it.
talk about it,
Be
yeah.
able to remember her name, but she was
Yeah.
she was lovely. Yeah. Should we show our upcoming sewing project?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I'm obsessed with Andrea Mowry, and on the sewing side, I'm obsessed with Sew Liberated.
Mhm.
I just love Meg McElway's style and
Yes.
the body positivity, which, I think is kind of a buzz thing right now, but needed.
Hers is organic, though. I feel.
Yeah,
like.
it's genuine, right?
Yes.
I think she kind of started it, to be honest.
Yes.
She was one of the pioneers in the whole, and also making clothes and designs that really look great on any body type.
Yeah.
And so I'm a huge fan of hers. I just love her style. And so anyway, so Megan sent me this picture and said, look at this bag. Let's make one. Well, she said, I'll make you one. And I was like, oh, I love you. But I said, oh, I want to make it. And then later I realized it was a Sew Liberated pattern. I'm
Correct,
like, oh,
yes.
that makes sense as to why I like it so much. But
So we went and I actually found on Fine Fiber.
oh wait, you gotta
Goods.
tell them what pattern it is first.
It's the Loof bag.
Loof, the
Loof?
egg. Yeah.
The egg bag. It's going to become my new everyday purse,
It
I
came with
believe.
the pattern.
I printed it, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were printing them on one giant sheet.
No, I was
You
not,
couldn't pull that off, huh?
yeah, I was not,
Well, thank you. I could have printed. Thank you. I didn't know you were going to do that.
fine.
Anyway,
One last
Sorry.
thing I could grab
you
from Mark.
fibers. I interrupted. My bad.
You Fine Fiber Goods? Is that who this
Yes,
is?
you find fiber goods. I believe they're in Raleigh, North
Carolina? Okay.
Yeah.
They had some kits, and I am paralyzed when it comes to options normally.
Yes.
So any chance I can find a kit
I love
to
a
do
kit.
something. It came with the.
Came with
Thank
the
God.
yarn.
I like
It
panic
came
grabbed
with
a bunch.
needle, the right needle for your machine.
Amazing.
Thank you, you fibers. Came with
Why
all
are
the
they so
hardware.
nice? Why
Well,
is
they
everybody so
know.
nice?
They know.
So April got the
Yeah, I got the blue.
blue
colorway,
colorway.
which I don't remember the name of it. But it's this one. And I'm
Gorgeous.
so, oh, that's nice. It's a canvas. That's
Mhm.
nice.
It's like a heavy
you
canvas.
could spray this with a water treatment.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, like.
And
the
then I ended
sandbar.
up getting, I think we have the same internal pattern,
Oh,
but a different color.
colorway.
So I have like a mustard
Oh,
yellow
it's a Japanese.
and then a brown kind of inside. And I feel like it'll be good because it's not too
I'm
dark.
excited about this.
Yes.
It's a Japanese, like, what is that? I don't know. I have to look at the.
At the, it's
Oh, anyway,
made in
it
Japan.
came with the zippers.
Yep.
Ah, 2 zippers. That's great fun. 2 zippers.
Yes, because there's the
I've done
the
zippers
inner
before though,
pocket.
so I feel
Yeah.
okay about that. And then this great webbing, nice cotton webbing.
And I almost got different webbing because you find fiber goods, like, of course, right when this got delivered. They were like, we also have these fun webbing patterns now.
Of course, yeah.
And I almost got a fun webbing pattern, but I decided to save that for, I'm sure, the second, third,
Yeah.
and fourth, and fifth one that I'm going to be doing of these. So.
Yeah, and I do have designs on making Megan sew some noodle head bags with me. I've always wanted to make one of
Well, and this one's a noodle head, I think.
Anna's bags and oh yeah, that is a noodle head.
This
yeah.
one's a buckthorn.
Yeah,
backpack,
see, I could
think.
make one of those.
I need to replace
You need to replace your zipper.
the zipper on it though.
She-
I tried to get the basting stitches out and I put a big old
This
hole
is
in the
cute.
zipper webbing. Yeah, and a cute little drawstring canvas bag.
I love the little attention to details like
Yeah.
that.
So cute and so worth
Fun
it for the
times.
cost too. Like
Oh yeah,
It was
very reasonably
very
priced
fairly
for this kit,
priced.
Yeah.
Yes. It was like no brainer
Yeah,
basically.
totally, total no-brainer. So I think we're gonna start that after this, so stay tuned.
Yes.
You'll have to check back in, see how we've come along.
Mine might be done next time we record.
She might be done, I probably won't be. I'm the world's slowest maker, but I have taken classes in the past on how to knit faster, and it was a disaster. And then I decided, no, I don't want to knit faster. I just want to knit at my own pace, and
make it your
the
own
slower
pace.
I go, the more bang for my buck,
Yep.
right? So,
Yep. And I've been struggling to get into that mindset a little bit more recently.
yeah.
So that I'm not. I think the biggest thing that has been hurting my thumb is I've been trying to quilt, and I'm realizing that it's not a craft for me. So,
Quilting is not a craft for me either. I did make a king size quilt on our bed. Have you seen that?
yes,
Yeah.
I think so.
And it came out. It came out weird. The size.
Came out weird.
So it's just I can't remember what the pattern is called. Forgive me, quilters. I am not a quilter, but it's the chevron, and there's just rows of the chevron.
Mm-hmm.
So the quilt is actually supposed to be on the bed the other way, but when I finished it, it was too narrow, and I was I was literally in tears because I spent like embarrassingly 3 years making that
Yeah.
quilt. I was so slow with it, but it was kind of boring.
Mm-hmm.
And my stepmom, who is an amazing quilter, an amazing sewist, she's like, just turn it sideways. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh. And it fits perfect on the bed sideways. So I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Because it was a tremendous amount of work. But I was like, yeah, I'm good. I did it, and I don't need to do that again.
Yeah.
I leave that to my stepmom.
Yeah, I'm working on the Book Nook quilt, and I have
It is cute.
all but 6 squares done.
Yeah.
Or blocks, sorry, whatever the terminology is. And I think that I have come to the conclusion that I'm going to finish it eventually and piece the top together and then send it away to a
Yes.
long armor and get it put together with the backing and everything too, because I
Yeah.
just can't.
I quilted this king size thing on my home machine.
Crazy.
And not free motion. Don't even think that I have that kind of
Just straight lines.
ambition. Or it's
Yeah.
straight lines, but you have to, in order to do it, you have to piece the batting as you go.
Right.
And so that was quite the experience. But it turned out, and it's good. I really like it. Yeah. So I did try to teach my sister and I both have tried to teach my stepmom, her mom, how to knit. Not happening.
No.
It's not her thing. She's one of the most talented makers I know, my stepmom is, and she just doesn't have the patience for the handwork involved in knitting. But she can quilt all day. Anyway, she makes these real. I'll have to show some of the stuff she makes because since she's retired, she's gotten into these scrappy quilt birds and
Ooh.
giraffes. I mean, she's amazing. So. Yeah, we'll have to talk about that at some point, like our own perceived creativity,
Mm-hmm.
because I've
Relative
noticed
creativity.
that, with a lot of makers, people are like, oh, I'm not creative because I just make the pattern that as it is.
I feel like
And-
that is kind of where I'm at because I feel like I'm a creative in the sense of, I was a dancer. I choreographed for years in college, and I feel like knitting and crafting is my creative outlet, but at the same time, I'm paralyzed by choice.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, there's so many choices out there,
yes.
and it's hard. It is hard to make a choice on like what colors to pair together, and
Yeah, so having like creativity within a box is kind of why I
Yeah.
like knitting and following a
Same.
pattern and things like that, and why I don't really see myself becoming a designer.
A designer. See, that's a
Anytime
different.
soon?
I think
Yeah.
that's a different muscle, right?
For sure.
I think you can just be a creative person and enjoy making someone else's designs, and kits are fabulous.
Yeah.
I love a good kit. But I think that still qualifies as being creative.
Yeah. Do you have any overall making goals or any sewing goals this year? Or
Yeah. My overall making goal is I I don't know if this is PC to say, but I'm kind of a dirty hippie at heart. Like I'm a granola at heart. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in the 70s, so, you know, forgive me if that's not polite to say, but I mean it with all love because I like that, you know. And it's okay if you're not that way either.
Right.
I'm not judgmental about that. But I feel like a lot in the making community, just society in general, overconsumption is like so promoted.
Yes.
Like I am not a fan of the person, he, she, whomever, they, them, dies with the biggest stash wins. I'm not about that life.
No.
So my goal this year is really to just knit for my stash unless there's a specific reason. Like I bought that one skein
For a specific reason.
to make my husband is, I'm pretty sure he has Raynaud's syndrome, so his hands are always freezing.
Mm-hmm.
So he does wear fingerless gloves, mitts all the time, and I thought he might like that design without the individual finger pockets,
Right.
you know, because
Yeah.
those are also a pain in the butt to make.
Yeah.
So that's my goal this year, is knit through my stash and sew the fabric I have, which I don't have a huge fabric stash. I think I have like 3 projects worth.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with my fabric stash too, is I've
Yeah.
got probably 9 yards of linen in like 3 different like patterns. So like I know that I'm going to make a dress. I know that I'm going to make
Right.
some pants. I know that I'm going to maybe make a jumpsuit or something like that. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of my plan.
Because
with
also,
that.
how much do we need?
Exactly.
I mean, I used to be, I'm not on social media, so if you go looking for me, you won't find me. You'll find her.
I'm not either at this point.
Yeah, I don't even have an Instagram account or anything anymore.
We might have one for this, but I think
Yeah,
that'll
but
be
Megan
the
will run
extent
that.
of it. Yeah.
My mental state doesn't do well with social media, and I've learned over the years to
I'm not sure who
prioritize.
does well.
Yeah, I don't know.
So.
I don't know. I got a lot of opinions about that, but I do think it's personal choice, and I
Yes.
do understand why a lot of people love social media as a way to
Mhm.
stay connected.
Yes.
But yeah, that's a whole thing. Ain't it?
Yeah.
So anyway, I just lost my train of thought. Where was I going?
Goals for this year. Making goals.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we were talking about the overconsumption.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, right. And I used to watch a lot of people who were like churning out a new handmade garment weekly.
Yes.
That is 52 garments a year.
I don't think
For
that,
me personally, just for me, I'm not making a judgment on anyone else. That is over consuming, and
Yeah.
I don't want to live that life. The planet is not getting any better,
Right.
And I feel like I want to be a more responsible maker, and also just make the things I need, make the things I'm going to use.
For sure.
You know, knit patterns or sew patterns more than one time. You
Mhm.
know. And really just I don't want to buy nice, beautiful yarn and have it sit in my stash for 5 years. What's the
Absolutely.
point?
Yeah.
I just don't see the point in that. So for me, that's my goal.
Yeah.
Is make what I have, enjoy what I've already purchased, and really get the value out of that.
And I'm right there with you. I think I'm definitely a craftaholic, or like just somebody that like serial crafter. I
Yeah.
think is the way that I would say it. If something's not holding my interest, I'm on to the next thing. If something like I bought those gem painting kits like last year and I haven't touched them, kind of thing.
Right. I feel you on that because when I was a stay-at-home mom, I didn't like work a traditional out-of-the-house job
Mhm.
for about 10 years, and I think it can get isolating and a little lonely
Mhm.
doing that life. And I'm glad I did it because my kids were little and it was great to be with them, but it's also mind-numbing at times. And I did try to fill some void with serial crafting. I macrame, I rug hooked, I got a Murex loom, which is amazing, and I don't ever use it anymore. To do a little weaving. I was doing bead weaving. I was doing,
Machine knitting.
Yes, I got into machine knitting. We can talk about that. Wonderful craft, but it is a whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's very hard and very complicated, and it is not cheating. Anyone who thinks machine knitting is cheating is speaking from a place of not knowing what they're talking about. Sorry.
For sure.
I feel that way strongly. It's a wonderful craft, but it's hard. It's really hard. So I ended up selling those, but we talked about that another time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel you on the serial crafting.
Serial crafting. So I'm trying to limit those tendencies and also
Yeah, you got to
be
preserve
kind
your
to
body.
my body and everything. So
Yeah, we can relate on that because I have I have very limited use of my right hand because of a snowboarding injury from 15 years ago and trying to avoid a full wrist fusion. And I do have chronic pain, same kind of thumb joint issue.
So that's another reason why also you're
trying to slow down.
Yeah,
be a little more relaxed. Yep. So anyone out there who's feeling like there's too much pressure to keep up with this churning out new projects all the time, it's okay to slow down.
Yeah.
You'll be okay.
We'll be right there with you.
Yeah, totally. Right? Yeah, you're not alone. I almost snorted.
Well, that's good. Is that
Yeah.
that about it?
I think
for
we've
today?
rambled on for a while here.
But yeah, we'll see you guys
See you
around
next
here
time.
soon.
Jomo Knits. Oh,
Yes.
I think we should say what Jomo is about and how that came up. So, Instagram, social media, if you're not on there, it's fear of missing out. And last weekend, actually, at Inweave, Megan said, no, not FOMO, JOMO, the joy of missing out. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I texted her a couple days later and I was like, Jomo Knits, that's what it should be.
Yeah.
Maybe it should be Jomo Crafting or Jomo Life. But anyway, Jomo Knits, that's what